If you're looking to build a personal brand on social media, whether that's as a content creator or a business owner, but you're not sure what type of content to make, then this is the video for you. Today I'm going to go through 7 different content styles that are popular on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm going to recommend what type of creators these would work well with. Then I'm going to rank them on a difficulty scale of 1 to 5 of how easy it is to create this type of content, 1 being the easiest and 5 being the most difficult. Before I start, I do want to mention that, of course, it's okay to use more than 1 style of content on your account. Variety is important and variety is good. But if you do want to build a solid brand on social media and a loyal audience, then consistency is key. Your followers likely joined because they resonated with your content and the way in which you delivered that value worked for them. So let's begin with some static content styles. Static content refers to still images, Instagram posts, and Instagram carousels, basically non-video. First up is tweet style posts. These are images that resemble tweets. I'm pretty sure all of you would have seen these. Using tweet style images is an excellent way to share brief but impactful messages. By mimicking the appearance of a tweet, you're tapping into the familiarity people have with Twitter, making it more likely for users to pay attention, stop scrolling, and read the message. And obviously, because they're really short and easily digestible, that makes them very shareable. They'll often find themselves on people's stories. The type of creators that I'd recommend to share and use this particular format of content, if your brand has a prominent figure, so that could be an entrepreneur, a founder, a CEO, or a spokesperson, especially if you want to share educational but powerful messaging. You'll see a lot of this style content on pages like Alex Hormozy or Stephen Barlett. Difficulty wise, I'd rate it a 1 out of 5 because they're so easy to make, especially now with the release of the Threads app. It literally can be done in just a few clips and there are no design skills required for this. Moving on to number 2, which is educational carousels. These are sets of images on Instagram that your audience can swipe through. They typically feature very educational content like how-to guides and step-by-step processes. They basically break down complete topics into a series of images spread out to make it more easily digestible, because as we know, people's attention span on social media is really short. For instance, if I was creating an educational carousel based on the topic of this entire video, I'd probably have the first image as the title page with something like 7 types of content styles to try. And then the next following slides would be each type of content on each one with a short brief explanation of what the style is, how it works, and who it suits. Educational carousels are perfect for creators or businesses that aim to educate their audience on certain topics within their niche. Some examples that I see quite often are people that have finance pages or marketing pages or web developers, those sorts of categories. However, difficulty wise, I definitely rate this near the top, maybe even a 5, because creating engaging content like optimizing the copy and making sure the design is on point, making sure it fits in line with your brand, that takes a lot of work, but you'll be sharing a lot of value and insights into your industry, so it would definitely be worth it. Okay, now let's get into number 3. We're going to be moving on to video content styles. It's a no-brainer that if you want to build a brand in this era on social media, incorporating more video into your content strategy is a must. The past couple of years, we have shifted into the world of video content, and personally, I'm loving it. So let's start with the basics. Trending content style, such as lip syncing to viral sounds on TikTok and participating in popular trends. For platforms like TikTok, their algorithm is specifically designed to promote trending and popular content, which is why when you engage in a viral trend, your video is more likely to reach a much wider audience. This is how a lot of creators start their careers. The TikTok star Charli D'Amelio is the perfect example of this. However, a mistake I see a lot of creators make is they rely too heavily on viral trends. Now, whilst you can gain a lot of exposure for following the trends, it's not going to give you a loyal or a dedicated audience, because despite trends being really entertaining, they don't really allow you to express your personality and they don't provide any real value to your audience. So trends can be beneficial for all types of creators, but they should only be a small part of your overall content strategy. What I'd say is participate in trends that only feel natural to you and fit perfectly within your niche. On the difficulty scale, I'd rate following viral trends a solid 1 out of 5 because they're super easy to do. You just need to play your audio in the background, lip sync to it, add some text, and you're ready to go. I do have another video on my channel on where I talk about how I stay up to date with all the social media trends, and I do share all of the resources I use to stay on top of trends for free in that video. I'll add a link to that in the description below so you can go ahead and watch that after this video. Okay, and now on to number 4. This particular style of content is one of my favorites to create and to watch, and that's mini TikTok / Instagram reel vlogs with voiceovers. A creator that's famous for using this style would be Anna Paul, the Australian TikTok star, who basically records daily vlogs of her going about her life, and then she'll remove the sound and do a voiceover on top of it, talking about what's going on in the video and what she did during her day. These are usually very fast paced with a lot going on in a small amount of time, making it very engaging. It's an excellent style for lifestyle creators to use. But again, I personally think this type of content style can really be used by anyone. For example, if you're a business owner, you can create behind the scenes vlogs of your day-to-day going about your work. A creator that's actually done this really well is Amber Rose, the founder of the supermarket Ori Mart. She does a ton of daily vlogs where she basically talks about her struggles of running a business, her wins, her challenges. Because this content style has given her so much freedom to express her personality while at the same time promoting her brand in a way that doesn't feel forced, she has gained a lot of popularity on TikTok and has a really engaged and loyal audience that just love her. I must say, I do love watching her content myself. It's really inspiring and uplifting and just fun. I'd give this content style maybe a 3 out of 5 because all you need to do really is record B-roll footage of you going about your day and put the clips together and then add a voiceover on it at the end. And now for number 5. Another content style that is really popular and does pretty well is talking head videos. This is where you basically just sit in front of the camera and talk directly to your audience. For example, if you create educational content, you're likely to sit facing the camera and talk in a very direct and concise way. You'll probably add nice, fancy, engaging captions to the video. You'll add icons and maybe overlay some B-roll footage to those videos as well. An example of someone I could think of that does this type of content would be Alex Hormozi, where he shares a lot of business, personal growth, and entrepreneurial style advice. The things you talk about in these types of videos would be very similar to what you talk about in Instagram Carousels. So you're just delivering some really valuable, informative information on an Instagram reel or a YouTube short or a TikTok video. And obviously this type of content works really well for educators, so people like social media marketers, finance experts, productivity experts. This type of talking head video, I definitely would say it's on the higher scale of difficulty as well. Again, there has to be a lot of pre-planning, a lot of editing. So yeah, I definitely give that maybe a 5. But then you can go to the other side of talking head videos, which are a lot more laid back, relaxed, and natural. You won't really see a lot of fancy captions or intense editing. Examples of these types of videos could be like a get ready with me video, whilst you're doing a story time, or eating a meal and chatting to the camera at the same time. A great example of a creator who does these really well is Sa on TikTok. She's actually managed to rack up, I think, over 2 million followers now, literally doing just this. This style of content generally does really well because it's super engaging and and it feels really personal, almost like you're sitting directly opposite this person whilst they're doing their thing and chatting directly to you. That type of talking head reel, I'd say, is pretty easy to make. You just have to let yourself be quite vulnerable in front of the camera. I'd give it maybe like a 2 out of 5. And now for my last content style of the video. This one may come as a surprise to you because it definitely did surprise me when I found out that it existed. And that is fake podcasting. Let me explain how this works. So I'm sure you've come across a lot of short form videos on Instagram and TikTok where you'll see clips from podcasts. Generally, what podcasters will do is they'll take highlights from their podcast and cut it up into short form video content and post it onto their social media platforms. It's a great way to repurpose long form content into short form content, and obviously it's also a really great way to promote your podcast if you have one. Somehow this has evolved into a completely new content style that has become quite popular, which basically involves filming and editing video clips to look as though they were taken from a real podcast. So you may angle the camera to make it look like you're talking to someone else. You may have a mic in front of you, a headset on, to basically mimic how it would look if you were doing a podcast. But the difference is your mic is not on. There's no one on the other side of the room, and that headset is definitely not switched on either. You'll be surprised to find out that this content style does pretty well. And it is true, because when I watch podcast clips, it immediately just makes it feel like the person I'm watching is relevant and they are credible because that clip is coming from a long form podcast. This style of content honestly would suit pretty much anyone that has a message to share and talks for a living. So again, that can be educators, entertainers, comedians, entrepreneurs. I'd give this content style a 3 out of 5 because it's not much different to talking head reels, the first version that I spoke about. And on top of that, you have to make sure you have the gear to look the part. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd ever try yourself. And can I just say that although I've given you these very particular styles of content for you to create, it's important to remember that you as a creator have full free reign to adapt and change each content style to fit you. You don't have to copy it exactly. These are just styles that have been tested and proven to have great results. What's most important is that you're getting the message you want to get across and that your audience likes it. If you made it all the way up until now, then you're a real one. Comment the words "my style" below so I can see who made it to the end of this video. If you did enjoy this and you found it useful, then please give it a like. It really helps out my channel. And if you're interested in seeing more content like this, then hit the subscribe button because I post every single week. And of course, don't forget, as I mentioned earlier, I do have a video on how I stay up to date with all the viral and latest trends. The link for that will be in my description below. Until next time.